But in terms of David, just to get back to this,
Sure.
understanding, okay, let's just get down to business here. There is no death.
Hmm.
Okay, so what we see as death means they left this dimension
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Now, there could be multiple reasons why that might have happened, but there's also multiple reasons why it could have been faked. If it could have been faked, because I think that there are certain parameters within, if you're going to fake a death, you have to, theoretically, it has to happen without any observers. Okay, that
Hmm.
was the first thing. Because if you look at, I don't know how to say his name, but it's the plasma scientist that was head of MIT. I mean, that's a pretty high profile person, you understand?
So,
And he
absolutely.
was
Yeah.
shot in the head.
No.
Okay. He didn't shoot himself in the head, supposedly, according to the forensics. He was shot in the head. So someone just walked up to his house, opened the door, and a hitman kind of thing. So that could be deep faked, okay, because nobody saw it happen. So if you wanted to arrange to have a scientist disappear and take them into, we call it strategic evacuation is one word,
Okay.
extrication is another, to put
Extraction.
them in a black project or to take them to Mars or to take them to the moon or one of our colonies or undersea bases
Hmm.
or one of our underground bases. You understand? That's what you would do. You would deep fake their death. So that's why whenever you're looking at all these scientists, you got to understand how it was done, and when they're all different. Like the woman who was hiking, she literally disappeared off the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, which makes no sense because they were right there. I mean, so that was an extrication that was probably ET related, in my opinion,
Likely.
because humans aren't good at disappearing other humans in like split seconds kind of thing. So, you can go through the whole litany of things. When somebody supposedly takes a shotgun and shoots their own self in the head, that's not likely. Okay. That's highly unlikely. Now, if David was, waving around a pistol, I guess that's what we're saying,
Mhm.
and actually then shot himself, you not even know that there were beings surrounding him that could have grabbed the pistol and shot him, but you didn't see that part. You
We're not
understand?
we're not going to be able to see that. No way, and no,
And
because
so
it's like
we're
Gene
talking about a
Hackman. Who?
murder. That could have been, then in other words, his death could be a murder.
Absolutely.
Or
And
it
the
could,
thing,
or it could be faked. He could have arranged it ahead of time because there's been weeks that this story has been front and center out there. And it's highly likely that there are other scientists right this minute who are saying to themselves, I got to get the hell out of here, calling their above top secret bosses and whatnot and
yeah,
saying, get me out of here. I don't want to be in the public eye. I got to get away because they're going to try to kill me. And, their bosses would probably agree and say, okay, we'll arrange it. That's what happened with JFK Jr. He
right.
was about to have a very excellent investigative journalist
Hmm.
publish on George Magazine who really killed his father, and that's when he was taken out. Okay. So it was right in that span of time when he was doing that, when he was hiring this journalist.
Hmm.
And I tell people this and nobody else seems to have heard it, but I actually read it somewhere and it makes perfect sense to me. But I haven't been able to verify it with Juan, who is actually JFK Jr., whose death was faked because they were going to kill him. Okay. That's the whole point. They knew the secrets. He was surrounded by Secret Service. If they had half a brain in their head, they would
Hmm.
have to know that they had to disappear him. And of course, his wife. And in this case, I guess his sister, and he was quite close with her as well. So that makes sense. So all I'm saying is that if you want to stay sane through
Hmm.
this time that we're going through, my advice is to look at everything like a mystery plot and start checking out all the points and seeing where they connect and where they don't connect, and don't go off the deep end. Okay, and do understand on a spiritual level
Hmm.
we don't die. And you might want to know that that's why the Illuminati do what they do. They know you don't die. They figure you're just going to come back anyway, and there's nothing they can do about it. But they are trying to stay in the material world, so they keep committing crimes, material crimes, so that their frequency will stay low, so they will not ascend, because they know a great deal. They know the principles and things in that, if you know the occult, they know those rules and regulations that run this, whatever you want to call it, this game. I prefer to call it a game.
Hmm.
They know, and when you know the rules, it's kind of interesting. You can transcend the rules. You don't have to play by those rules. You can do other things. But in the case of the Illuminati, they purposefully keep their vibration, their frequency down so that they can stay in, because they're what you call materialists.
Mm.
Materialists don't want to ascend. They don't want another Earth. You understand? They want this one.
No, dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, everyone else is trying to, their best to ascend, and the Illuminati are doing the opposite. Okay.
do you think this ties